Okay, I guess that's the call to order here. Welcome to everybody. This is HPB meeting of October 17th. And before we start, I thought I would ask any board members if there's any need to recruit yourself for any reason on any of these matters tonight.
I do not.
No?
I do not.
Okay, good. All right. Okay.
Move to open the meeting. Somebody?
I move to open the meeting.
I second.
Okay.
Okay, roll call. Member Searle,
I'm here.
Member Olson,
Yes.
Member Dabrowski,
Yes.
Chair Pollak,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, thank you. We have a number of items to go through tonight. 87 South Main Street, and I understand this is second time through. And according to the minutes, there's a issue on materials, so please come forward and give us some more detail on that. You guys were here for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't even much.
I
She
did
just
not-
more clarification.
Oh,
It's a very cool house you've got. It's
Oh, that's-
really, I go by all the
thank
time,
you.
all the time.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice of
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Daniel, Christopher, nice to see you again.
Of course.
And Jeffrey,
Virginia.
Virginia, pleasure to meet you both. So, our architect, Ted, will not be able to be here this evening, but we can represent the project, we think, appropriately.
Okay.
So, as submitted, the packet has additions, I think, called out in red font
Yep.
throughout, and some additional notes towards the back on some of the material. So, principle in question, sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I just wanted
Yep.
Okay.
We needed to clarify materials and dimensions for windows and doors. There's questions around skylights, dimensions of the overhang, and then some more material details on the metal roof, all of which should be quite visible in the packet.
Okay. You want to like take it from the top? It's a long list of things. You want to
Sure,
Start
yeah,
with
so the
okay.
skylight materials or dimensions, I guess, are 2 by 2.5 inch, foot skylights. Velux is the manufacturer, and their principal,
Here, you can just, you can all that right up there.
biggest paper
Very,
possible.
very big pieces of paper.
Short.
To,
Like table.
Skylights will not be visible from any public way.
right.
Now, are these fixed or motorized? Are they? Yeah.
We would like them to be motorized. We'd like them to be able to provide ventilation. The height of the ceiling, the massing is kind of hinging on the skylights being included.
Well, just for your reference, Jeff, not to interrupt, but the issue with the skylights last meeting, and as you too, Virginia, was they weren't pointed out in the packet, and we didn't really see them in the drawing that was
Okay.
that was provided, and all of a sudden we were like, well, what's this detail?
Yes.
And they were like, oh, that's skylights. It wasn't that drawing, it was
These
another.
here, right there.
So all of a sudden, we come to this meeting not knowing that there was going to be skylights. So it wasn't anything that we went and looked at prior to their first time here. So I had time to go over and look, and as Steve mentioned, you really can't see them from the street, so they should be in a
Great,
good spot.
yeah.
And then also, I went and looked around the majority of the village, and there are multiple homes with skylights. So
Lots, yes.
and
which are
that's really where we were coming from with our
Yeah.
last comment,
Sure.
of our last meeting.
Sure.
Not like, hey, we're not going to do this, but more like, okay, we had no idea this was what was going to be
Absolutely.
at the table.
Yeah.
And then just the type of skylights too, there's some, the bubble ones you definitely want to stay away from.
Yeah.
So do we.
Yeah, all in agreement.
Yes.
They'll be low profile. The angle from the sidewalk is such that, and we're talking 75 or 80 feet from the sidewalk.
You can see them drawn on
Side,
Oh, absolutely.
3.2.
right there.
But that wasn't in the original packet. I'll show you
Yeah,
what it
okay.
was.
Yep.
The picture was, I don't think they were highlighted to your
Yeah,
point, right?
The labeling.
They're not visible, the word really isn't used if you.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that's-
okay,
just help
very good.
Bear with Dan on.
Okay,
Very good.
very good, thank you.
Step on your toes.
See this?
Yes.
We needed detail on the type of door that would be provided, which is a rail and style, very similar to the existing side door, wooden door.
Do you have images of both of those?
No,
We would, just calling it a rail and style door, any door that's not flush is rails and stiles.
Okay.
So the rails are the horizontal pieces that divide the door, and the stiles are the vertical pieces. So just to say they're rail and style does not give us information about their appearance.
Yeah, not at all, yeah.
You mean of the door that we'll be purchasing
Yes.
versus
Yeah.
the door that, okay, that's
Yes.
existing. So I know we do
Although
have
it
pictures of the
does-
door that is
It does appear
existing.
to be drawn.
Yes,
Is this the door that you intend to use?
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't have a manufacturer
Yeah.
or style type.
and that
Well-
also was not specifically requested at the last meeting.
So that's glass and split below.
Correct.
Mhm.
From my point of view, this is an actual scaled drawing. Just for those of you who are not accustomed to looking at architectural drawings and appropriately scaled drawings, this is what we should expect to see.
Absolutely.
And it's very clearly shown there. It doesn't say it's glass on the top. The upper half
Will be glass, yes.
and the lower half is wood.
Mhm.
How are the lower portions, how are the panels treated? Are they flush panels? Is there edge trim on a door like that, or on a window? There's something called a sticking, which is, the panel goes in and then there's sometimes a decorative piece, sometimes it's just a flat piece that holds the wood in place, the glass in place. What is your intention for the panels that are below the windows on this little, I'm going to call it the pass-through, the entry space?
Are you asking for a style definition?
Well, if we had a detailed drawing of the door that showed
specific door.
the profile,
Okay,
that would be, and said the profile of the door is going to be the same,
okay.
that I think would be okay, but this is, my take on this is that a flat panel with flat sticking
Yeah.
would be the most appropriate in this location.
Sure.
Fancy sticking, profile sticking is typically used on high style or front of house
Right.
areas. This is the back. I don't want you to feel that I'm saying it's less important.
Oh, no,
But it is
yeah.
less important.
Sure.
It is
So you
not
don't
even the
want-
secondary door.
Yes,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
a secondary area, and you don't want that elaborate kind
No.
of trim.
No,
We
no,
certainly don't.
there's no
That would be
elaborate trim on the
flush,
home
yeah.
anywhere. It would
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
quite in line with existing styles.
This also says next to it, flanking it is a wood awning. Am I reading that right?
Those are the definitions for the windows. They're wood windows, awning style, flanking the door.
Awnings open out like that.
Yes.
Is that what you
Oh.
intend?
Oh, okay, nice, all right.
What's happening on the inside? I'm only asking because I have had both awning and casement windows.
Mhm.
Casement windows would be hinged on the
Yeah,
side and
we have-
open in.
Yeah, there are several casements on the existing back of the home right now.
Okay. The rain won't come in so much.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, so both sides of that link space, that's what we call what you're looking at there,
Yeah.
will have awning style windows.
Okay. I have a couple of other window comments, but
Sure.
I don't know if they were addressed.
Yes, and we were
The
planning
other-
to address them today, too.
Okay, then why don't you address them first? Because they might be bringing something up that's
Sure. So one of the questions that came up in the last meeting was just the materials for the windows, right? And we know the preference in the village, in the historic homes, certainly are wood windows. In doing research around what options we may have with a 100% wood window, a wood core window, when it comes to maintenance, when it comes to keeping with the age of the back of the home, which was built in 1965.
Yeah.
And has
Existing
casements
garage.
It has,
existing.
yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We would like the board to consider a clad option, wood core clad option that would be lower maintenance, provide longer-term protection to the windows, similar, we think, to what was approved in the September meeting for one of the homes that was on the agenda that evening, a post-war home on Austin Park that I believe was approved with aluminum-clad Anderson windows. They would all be at least 75 feet from the road. They're all in the, like I said, addition to the home that would be 1965. Nothing about the original historic structure is being touched. And we hope the board would consider that request based on some recent precedent, but then also, I'll read from a memo that our architect included in our submission. Federal standards for additions to historic structures encourage adapting to evolving materials and technologies and not attempting to replicate historic materials in a literal way. So with that in mind, that is our hope that a clad option would be considered.
For which windows? All windows or
Only in if you're looking
the
at
link?
The end.
the link and the garage, these are the only parts of the home that are being
Right, so, okay.
considered.
About the windows that you mentioned in this part of the house, that
Yes,
face
so
backwards.
those are already casements.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're not replacing those at that?
You're talking about the ones that are facing backwards, that are not, you can't see them on the drawing.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought you said you were making additions to that or changes to that.
Because of the peak of the link, an existing window will have to be
Okay.
Removed.
modified.
And then we will have to put two,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
So that would
is
be, but that's also a 1960s addition, and that would be not visible from any
from anywhere.
public way because it's on the literal back of the house.
This says that the windows above the garage are wood, though.
Yeah, so what we're proposing is that the core of all windows that we'll be buying and installing are wood. They're all wood windows, wood core, and there are details included in the packet for specific options by different manufacturers. Marvin makes a wood core fiberglass or aluminum clad option available in 19 different colors. It could be installed as is and subsequently repainted if we needed to in the future or wanted to. There would never be a need to. That's the goal here, is to be as low maintenance while conforming to, accepted styles as possible.
Is that all the window information you wanted to present?
Yes.
I personally have no issue with putting modern windows with modern materials in this addition. It's not historic. They complement the existing windows as far as style, operational style and proportion. But here's what does bother me. I'm sorry, this must be this is the south elevation?
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
On the south elevation in the garage, on the second floor in your family
Yeah.
home, right? The grouping of 3 windows there, in my opinion, is inappropriate. That not having 3 windows, but the much taller window in the middle.
Okay,
That type of grouping is more typical of it's not exactly a Palladian window, but it's a Palladian
Reminiscent.
window.
okay,
The center window would have an arch over it, and the middle window, the side window, and this is Palladian, the side windows are smaller.
okay,
Palladian typically is same height all the way across, the centerpiece has something different at the top that
Okay.
extends above the upper side of the windows on either
Okay.
side.
Like a picture window of some sort?
Well,
Oh, I see.
yeah,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah, makes sense.
not one in this building that I can think of. So in my opinion, the height of that center window is inappropriate for the style. And I understand what you're doing, want all the light you can get there. These are south-facing windows,
Yeah.
you've got some solar gain in there that will
Absolutely.
be helpful in the cooler months. But it's my opinion that the height of that center window is inappropriate.
okay. Even with the distance from public way, no, that's regardless
Now I'm
of, okay,
talking about the general
Understood.
architectural,
got it,
unified architectural style of your house. and
understood,
addition.
okay,
So an array of 3 like-sized windows
Right.
with some arch-shaped.
No,
detail.
nothing over the top.
Nothing over the top.
Nothing
Just
over
a
the
point.
top.
I'm sorry, I thought that's what you pointed to there.
Oh, no, I'm
Right.
saying this is
Is
similar, and
reminiscent
of
that
the
style
Understood.
is,
Okay.
so,
it's an older architectural style.
understood, okay,
Older in terms of historic architecture.
Okay.
sure,
And also more high style. Palladian
Yeah.
windows were not in just the ordinary individuals' homes.
Yeah.
Typically, they were
Okay.
high style, more expensive homes. So you could, if you could put 4 in there,
sure,
or
Like
3 in there,
across.
Yep.
3 equally sized.
Equal
windows.
size.
Would
Got it.
make it, and that would give us a little more breathing room near the
Okay.
roof line.
Now, I'm looking at the photograph of the paired windows on the front of the house.
Mhm.
mm-hmm,
I'm sorry, I'm going to sneeze in the middle of this, and I'm going to apologize now. I can feel it coming.
yeah,
This piece in between is called a mullion, and it's
Yeah.
a structural piece.
Mhm.
And where you have paired windows in the addition,
mm-hmm,
they should not be factory mulled. At the factory, they make the windows, they put them all together. The mullion is typically very narrow.
okay,
And the header above the window is much larger because there's no intermediate vertical support. So on these, this group of windows here,
Yes.
the appropriate mullion size is this size. And that means you're going to get 3 separate windows, and your contractor is going to build a mullion
okay,
in between.
Okay.
Now, next. This is the back of the garage. I recognize it's the back of the garage. You're going to see it when you're mowing your yard.
Mhm.
But traditionally, and well, I can't see the other elevations. Traditionally, the first floor windows are taller than the second floor windows.
Mhm.
That's just, in
Understood,
every,
yeah.
practically every house
Mhm.
you see around the village, you're gonna find that.
mhm,
So I would also argue that the height of this window
Yeah.
mhm.
is inappropriate compared to the height of these.
Okay.
If you wanted to put more windows across the back at a lower height,
Mhm.
that would be fine with me too, and they could be, but I wouldn't want them to be taller, in my opinion. They should not be taller than these windows.
Okay.
So that's on the outside of the garage looking west.
That would be west,
Yes.
yeah, west facing.
It's west, and I think your backyard neighbors are going to see it.
Our backyard neighbors.
I have it right here, actually.
Okay.
So, okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
So those are my comments. Otherwise, I appreciate the quality of this submission. I appreciate the details that are already called out. I've noticed that you're, although I was concerned because the drawings don't appear to be the case, particularly on the garage, the overhangs are you're calling for the overhangs to be, match those on the house.
Yes,
Um,
that was one detail I did want to make sure was called out because that was not in the submission in September. It's 1 foot 4 inches on the existing home. It would be 1
Right.
foot 4 inches on the new roof
And-
as well.
I don't see any exterior casing on the windows, anywhere on the addition.
west.
Both in the link, I'm sorry, I know that's not what you're calling it.
No, yeah, we are
It is.
called the link, yeah.
Neither on the link nor on the garage are casings shown. It's the trim that goes on, it goes from the window to the siding, it separates
Okay.
Okay.
the window from the siding.
Mhm.
There's no trim indicated. Do you intend to put any trim on there, or are you just going to use the manufacturer's
Edge.
trim and butt the siding to it?
I would say, considering, and you can see in some of the existing pictures, I don't think there's much trim on the windows on the house as it is right now. So,
It would keep it in
The
line.
north side, just that front window has it right here. That has
Your east?
the casing. Virginia's one.
Mhm.
Your east elevation photo shows trim, exterior trim around
Sure,
the windows and doors.
but along the back of the home where the addition is going, is that what you're referring to, Patrick?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. All I can say is I've got trim on my garage window.
okay, sure.
And I consider that to be a standard detail.
Okay.
Casings around doors and windows,
Sure.
in my opinion, is a standard detail.
okay.
Would that, though, then make the current casements without much casing look out of place, I guess is the thought I'm having.
But those are there,
Mhm.
it's already done.
Okay,
Doesn't mean we have to repeat
understood.
something that might be inappropriate. And again, these are my opinions, this is my opinion. You've got 3 other people sitting here,
Okay.
and 3 other people will vote.
Mhm.
You all vote.
So before we leave the window situation, so are you thinking you'll just do 3 of the same size?
That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
I don't think,
Stylistically, I don't have any strong attachment to
Yeah,
what
we-
was drawn. So yeah, I think that,
I agree, and we do get great
Yeah.
afternoon and evening sun on that face, and
Mhm.
especially you'll enjoy that on an elevated,
yeah,
the
even
roof
more
gets great
so,
sun,
even more
so
so,
it'll
yeah.
be, it will be nice, and it will, because of the interior design between the addition and the link,
Yeah,
that light will spill
Yeah.
into the link
Mhm.
as well for some portion of the evening. So, we want as much of a window array there as we can have,
Mhm.
which I think is why Ted had included the taller height there.
Yeah.
But we certainly understand, what we've just heard. So,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I just realized, Ted Butcher.
yes,
Oh, I
Yeah,
know Ted. Yeah, I know Ted.
yeah, he's
He'll know what I'm talking
he's out of town
Sure,
and
yeah.
wishes he could be here.
yeah.
He might be listening in right now.
about. Yeah.
So,
Great.
okay.
Okay, down the table here.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I have a similar looking barn.
Okay.
And I'm on Church Street. Just as getting as much sun in there is great, but I know Virginia mentioned a lot about designs of these windows. Do you have any questions on
No.
what you guys would want out of a window structure or how many? And then also, too many windows can almost take away from that barn feel,
Agreed.
right? And then on this east face, well, I guess, I'm sorry, west facing window, to get more sun in there, but not take away from too much of the barn look up here. Do instead of 3 windows, you do 2 and 2, and you still get a lot of that afternoon
Yeah.
sun in there.
I agree. I think that's
Because
something.
you don't want to take away too much of the barn look.
Agreed.
on this
Agreed.
Right here with too many windows that are all just a big square window.
So
Right.
Daniel, what you're saying is to just repeat the 2 kind of in line on the
Yeah.
second
I
floor?
think the only concern there is that the bathroom, the small bathroom, I don't know whether that would be a consideration, but that's something that we can certainly discuss.
Yeah.
I do appreciate the asymmetry,
Yeah.
essentially, or the look of a smaller window on the bottom and a much larger window on
Yeah.
top does look a little upside down, so.
Yeah,
Well, and I totally get having more sun.
Sure, getting in as much light as
It's-
possible.
Nothing's better than sunshine.
Yeah, I think we consider maybe even a 2 side by side rather than separated here, and then it wouldn't impact the bathroom, and the remaining design.
One of the other questions that came up last time was about the standing seam metal roof.
I don't know, did you want to say anything more
I'm
about the
sorry.
I don't
windows?
have any comments. about the
Okay,
windows, thank you.
to make sure we kind of close that.
Yeah, I had some concerns about that as well. And when I first glanced at the drawings, it looked to me as though this overhang that runs all across here was the only standing seam metal. And for a porch roof, I don't have the same problems with it that I do on the house. And I think this board, as an aside, I think this board needs to develop a policy on
Standard.
Yeah,
new metal
Does come
roofings.
that does come up frequently.
Okay,
And so far, it's come up several times, but not frequently enough that we've been forced to develop a policy. And I'm going to suggest after the meeting some things that we can think about.
Yeah. Great.
so where do we stand on that, though, with what we have presented?
Are you planning on coming back again with the window changes that we've discussed?
If we need to.
I would be uncomfortable voting on, because we've talked about a lot of different options.
Yeah, I wasn't sure which
This
way
evening, and
where you
I'm
were
not
going to go on
sure-
some of those, but
And I'm not sure it's appropriate to make a decision without having a good visual of what they look like. I would like to see them.
See a new drawing, an updated drawing from
Yeah.
Ted.
I'm trying to look at this drawing and decide if he's drawing by hand, which it looks like it could be. Most likely drawing by hand instead of computer. If he's drawing by computer, it's simple. If you're drawing by hand, it's get out the eraser and that sort of thing. So
I think if it were something simple, that could be incorporated into a resolution, but I think you're sort of thinking about the options on that outer side.
On the windows?
Yeah.
I feel comfortable agreeing to three same-size
Like-size
windows.
windows.
Yeah,
I agree. And if that's something that can be
That could be,
agreed upon in principle here and
Yeah.
followed up with the board with a visual, I'm fine with that.
me too, I would totally agree with that, yeah.
And what about on the west elevation with the
Oh,
tall,
yeah.
single tall window?
Yeah, I think that we could, if we would agree to put,
You could put two.
shorter windows up on the second floor,
Two.
that would be aligned,
Yeah.
2 of them, kind of aligned over those below. If we agree upon that, we can come back for.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's a very
3.3.
faint little line here, which I'm reading as the floor. It's not labeled as such, it's right here.
Yes, I see what you mean,
I'm reading that as the floor.
potentially.
Well, that's what it looks like, and the bottom of the sill of that window is quite close to the floor, which
Here.
requires
Mhm.
different glass, which I'm sure Ted is aware of.
So we'll need to reconsider the west elevation, upstairs windows.
Well, I guess I would, You could put two just like this, right up above,
Mhm.
or you could put two centered.
It would be side by side. That's what it will, I think, need to be, just based on what we're planning for.
The space planning.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because of
All
the
right.
galley nature of the bathroom.
But I would be absolutely comfortable making that the decision
Agreed.
today too, if that could be, wrapped into the resolution. I think we'd prefer not to come back again unless you
Well,
really
I-
feel that it's a necessity.
so I think we could certainly discuss this, and then this was two side by side, did you say?
On the west
On the west.
elevation, yes, we would do two side by side, shorter height, so that we wouldn't need to get different glass, and that it would also look
Well, if there's a code dimension, I can't remember what the number is offhand.
So heights, talking about?
Sill height of.
That would be taken care of with the plan. They would have to have tempered glass. I don't remember, I think it's 18 inches, I believe, off the floor.
Okay, but
To the bottom of the
but
slide.
as far as, if we're talking about a verbal resolution here, I just
sure.
would want to be sure that it would include.
Well, we have to meet all those code requirements anyway when they get.
Of course.
Yeah.
But they might want to, I don't know where in the room they want those windows to be. And if they're only 18 inches off of the floor, you have to decide if that's okay with you.
Well, I don't think we have any intention to put a window 18 inches off the floor.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that the height of that window in the drawing is causing.
Would be the
more
base.
confusion than
Well,
it
it's a-
needs to.
It's a 6'5" window.
Yeah.
And I don't know what ceiling height you're planning out. It'll be a cathedral ceiling, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
So there are two windows like this size, 6'5"?
No, I think we'll have to
Too small.
go,
We're
yeah,
suggesting that we would.
now we would update it.
A
Okay,
pair of
yeah.
windows side by side that
Yeah,
would
yeah.
match roughly the same.
But given the
On the first
eaves, you're gonna have to figure that out, I think. I'm all for trying to get it
I know.
resolved,
Mhm.
for your sake too, but on the other hand, I don't want to have you rushed into something like, oh, we really wanted this. Because I think
West elevation visible though from
Not
any
at all.
public way?
No, only to our neighbors
In no
behind
way.
us and when we're in our backyard.
Well, we can certainly,
I'm going through the package. We have lighting that's been included, which we haven't discussed this evening. I don't know if you discussed it before or not.
I don't know.
Yeah, we talked about
did,
it.
yep.
We did.
Okay, that's,
Both at the HPB meeting.
Jurisdiction of the west.
I'm sorry?
Did we resolve that we do not have jurisdiction of the west side?
The lights meet code was what they had suggested.
Oh,
That's
but
between
the,
you and
And
them.
also, it's,
okay. So have we covered all the issues that came up before? You
no,
mentioned lighting, we covered the roof.
What was our coverage of the roof?
yeah, so I don't know if there was a discussion about the roof.
We have not had a discussion
Okay,
recently
it's
about
coming up.
roofing.
Okay. Asphalt except for this joined area, I think, right? Which included the porch.
The link. It's,
the asphalt roof on the ground will match the existing house.
I think,
Yes.
the roof and concern, or,
Is the standing seam
yes.
metal?
Standing seam, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
that,
I seem to remember a comment written in the packet about how that was going to be better for this location, or did I?
yeah, so the
misunderstand that?
the pitch of the roof over the porch, right? The existing porch
Yeah,
is pretty low, right? It's a very shaded area as well.
mhm.
And we feel like the metal roof will allow for a better drainage option at that lower pitch. It doesn't get lots of sun because of tree coverage in that area, and it will last longer, require less maintenance, and also add a detail of punctuation between the existing home and the new structure.
I recognize it does provide a pretty clear visual.
Yeah.
I don't mind it on the porch, as I
Yeah.
said. I'm okay with that low slope,
Mhm.
but the roof of that link itself is a larger area
Okay.
and a steep pitch.
Would you guys consider like cedar shingles?
As a punctuation?
Yeah, has that gone through? Yeah, just to, obviously, we don't want asphalt across the entire,
Sure.
it serves a really nice punctuation
Right.
between splitting up the house and the new barn. And then also color, have you guys finalized on a color? If you said that last time, I forgot, I apologize.
No, I don't think we have a color. We didn't realize that one was required. I didn't think that color was part of the.
Well, this is a, I had to come to this board several years ago to get approval to change roofing on St. Louis Church Manse. We were doing asphalt for asphalt. We came in and talked about it. But I think if you're changing material, then color does come into it, in my opinion. I know Steve has the final say. I know we don't typically, but if it was brick that was going up, we would want to see the color of the brick. If it was stone, we would want to see the color of the stone. They're permanent materials. So in that case, yes, we do. In my opinion, reading our ordinance,
Is that
for permanent
indicated at all
materials,
here?
we would have jurisdiction over color. And this is no,
Black on there.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, I mean, that's the color we would be going with is as close to black as, I just don't know what the name of the color is. If we're not going with the same red that we had painted on the, that we have on the front of the house,
Yeah,
it would be a dark.
And the standing seam would be more in tune with the other homes in the village that have accessory
gray.
roofs that have
Yeah,
standing seam.
slate,
Not a
that's what I
standing-
mean.
Yeah.
Standing seam is,
Yeah.
if you drive around the village, people have all sorts of little accessory porches and overhangs and things like that that have standing seam.
yeah, absolutely.
I may be conflating the conversation, but did your architect make commentary last meeting in terms of the tightness of the gable and something for using metal in that capacity? I thought he had mentioned something.
That was also of benefit, you mean?
Yeah,
in using,
to using the metal. I thought I remember
well, but
mentioning something.
Don't
Yeah,
recall.
I don't remember.
Okay, so we have a couple things in the air here. And I think, I come back to the window, the west side, and even though that's not visible, we don't want to read something into a resolution that really, holds you to something.
On the west side, because we don't have jurisdiction.
Yeah, so, okay.
No, Steve, I'm sort of speaking for you.
Pardon?
I'm sort of speaking for you that.
the metal roof is not on the west side.
No, we're
I'm
back to the
speaking
windows.
responsive to-
Yeah, okay.
Not visible from the public way, no.
My personal professional opinion as a preservation architect who frequently wrote condition reports for buildings, and they'd have a problem or want to know how to address something, I go take a look at it. When I have looked at older installations of modern metal roofing, because modern style steel metal roofing has been around for quite a while. My experience is that in a situation like this, with you've got this little gable here, which means you've got a valley where this roof and this roof meet. Those valleys are exceedingly difficult to keep weather tight. And when there's a complex roofing situation like this, I would always argue against a modern steel metal roof, because the metal is so thick and so inflexible that the finesse required to make dry joints in valleys like this is very difficult.
Interesting. Okay.
So I would That's just a point of caution, should the metal roofing be approved, is that, in my opinion, this roofing configuration makes for a very difficult area to keep dry.
Specific to the valley connecting the gable and the
Yes.
slope of the roof. Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
And I guess they haven't reconciled the differences in the slope there. There's no way to make those equal, because then you throw this whole porch.
Because it's equal as you guys have it now, in your current setup.
I'm not sure. I understand.
Yeah, so that will continue
Yeah.
at that same,
Yeah, Jeff was saying if there was anything you could do to keep that all one pitch.
Yeah. Then you wouldn't have a seaming issue.
I have a little problem here, no offense, but how they seal that roof and do it, if you are okay with design, what they do as far as the roofing and who installs it is really up to the contractor and them, not this board.
I didn't bring it up for that reason, Steve. I brought it up to provide our applicant with
So
the
you know that.
benefit of my
Sure.
experience.
Yep.
I understand it, but if these people in here for a second time, there are certain things you should have purview over, and, you know what I mean, I just,
I'm not saying we have purview over the installation, I'm just pointing out a difficulty that I have observed in my 25 years of historic
It's
preservation.
good to know about
architecture.
it.
agreed,
Yeah.
no, absolutely,
It's good to
and we
know about it.
appreciate that.
I've installed probably 50 metal roofs with gables and valleys and everything, I've never had an issue.
Okay, do we have any other issues here?
We have lighting still,
We,
I
and it
think
doesn't show on the plans where they're going to go.
Lighting
it was discussed at last meeting and at planning zoning.
Isn't it on the other drawing though? Is
we'll say,
the hand sketched one here.
I don't
Yeah.
have any problem with these, I just don't know where they're going.
Oh, okay, so it is on the drawing that's kind of bluish,
Yeah,
right?
this one right here.
Yeah,
Blue and yellow.
yeah.
Oh, so the little,
shows kind of the cone of light. that-
Yeah.
that's what they're talking.
Yeah, and the wattage was all approved already.
I get it now.
No, Virginia, we made the same comment as you just
Yeah.
did
Okay.
last month about
Okay,
what sort of drawing that.
And where did that other picture
We're
go?
not going with blue or yellow, I promise.
here,
It's right here.
yes, these are the
Yeah.
sort of carriage lights,
Got
and
it.
these are the,
Yeah,
more or
that's
less.
appropriate
it's
there,
not-
but
Yeah.
flood.
Yeah. No, I have no issue with them, I just didn't know where they were.
Sure.
Now do we have anything else?
I think we should make one last comment, just, you guys had mentioned and provided an absolute ton of material on specific windows and different types of windows and different manufacturers. You guys, do we need to say which windows you guys are gonna go with, especially if we don't ask you guys to come back?
Yeah,
think
so I think it was.
We can clarify that also.
Same brand.
No, not.
Oh, the
No, let's say it's
aluminum clad.
about full wood versus,
I would like that
Yeah, we would-
voted upon.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that would be helpful.
it seemed that there was a discussion,
Mhm.
but I don't know if we have the definitive vote.
Okay. Skylights, door, okay, and windows, so the window, we cover the roof and the lighting, anything
Overhang.
else?
The overhang,
Overhang was the
Overhang.
other
The overhang's
piece that
fine,
was,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, okay,
that was just a question around dimension.
okay, good. Anything else?
did we resolve, I mean, what are
So
we
it
voting
sounds
on?
like
Are we
there
voting on
was-
all wood, or are we voting on?
Oh,
the
I think
wood
we're
core?
voting on the overall concept with a caveat on the west
South.
elevation for the 3 windows.
I think that's a south elevation, yeah, because the
South,
west
yeah.
elevation is not visible, and
Yeah.
to your,
So, as well as the west, so, okay.
No, you had asked the question whether or not from a materials perspective,
Right.
whether or not we would accept a wood core,
Oh,
or it would absolutely need to be all wood, which is, I think, something we need to make sure that we're clarified here in voting, because as I see the application, it is indicating all wood. And we
The
would need to
drawing.
make sure that we are
Yes, I agree, it's called out as a wood window.
correct, which, if we are going to accept
Yeah.
what you're asking, we want to make sure that we are clarifying
Sure.
in the
Yes.
resolution. So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page as
Okay.
to whether or not, I guess that's why you asked the question, is where we
Yeah.
stood before we decided to amend their application.
We, as we discussed, we would prefer the clad option. given the low maintenance nature of that material,
Okay.
and want the board to consider that.
Okay. Comments? Okay. I think with that in mind, I think we're ready to go ahead and take a vote.
So which are we voting on?
Uh,
The clad,
Just do that first.
okay?
Yeah. Okay. I make a motion to accept the clad windows as proposed.
I'll second the motion.
Okay.
Okay, so hold on.
How about we do
Make-
one motion with conditions
Correct.
rather than separate motions for each item?
Which would include the
The
clad.
clad,
All
okay.
of the, okay.
All the conditions.
Yeah.
Will come up.
Okay, so.
So we need to discharge that motion then, in a formal way.
I suppose you could go for Jeff.
Okay, I propose that we accept the application with the following conditions.
Application. Conditions.
Which would be, for instance, the clad windows as proposed.
Mhm.
Anything else on that?
Clad windows and
proposed at
then
the
the realignment of the windows over the garage.
Okay. What about
South
front?
facing.
On
Clad
south.
windows-
She's still on the cladding.
Yeah, and clad windows as proposed
Well, I'm sorry,
at meeting.
as proposed at the meeting, because the drawings indicate wood.
At meeting. Okay, next.
The,
South facing windows above the garage.
All be the same height.
With mullions of the same dimension as
style.
the east.
Yeah.
Is that the right existing
East
elevation?
is the front of the home.
The east second-story window is shown in photograph on drawing sheet number A-3.1.
I'm at south facing windows above garage, all same height.
Yep.
With mullions between
Mhm.
of equally sized in width
Mhm.
to the mullion in the second-story window, east elevation, shown on the photo on sheet A-3.1.
The second story elevation.
Yes, elevation
Okay.
photograph.
A-31, 3.1.
Okay,
Okay?
but didn't you say something about east?
Those are the
Yeah,
east
that- yep.
facing windows.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we have everything now?
No, the west-facing window, window,
I thought we
I believe
determined
outside
that
our
was.
jurisdiction.
It's outside.
We will be considering, certainly be considering making the
Yeah.
adjustments, but I think
okay.
for the vote is
Okay,
my understanding.
Through.
all right, so moved?
No one to talk about the roof.
Oh, the
Right.
metal roof as proposed, to include the standing seam roof as proposed.
You don't need, it's my opinion, you don't need to mention that, because it's
Just
not a
the roof
condition.
as proposed, okay, yeah.
It's part of the
Okay.
Yeah, it's
application.
not, yeah,
The application as proposed
Is-
includes that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so you made the motion second,
I'll second
you
that.
seconded, okay. Okay. Member Searle,
Ask the gentleman first, please.
Member Olson,
Yes.
Member Dubrowski,
Yes.
Member Searle,
I'm going to say no because of the roofing. I'm concerned about the roofing,
okay.
appropriateness as well as,
Chair Pollak,
yes.
motion passes. I need findings of fact, please.
We'll do this together.
Yeah, think my numbers.
those of you who
Yeah, we'll do this together.
hide,
The
need to do that.
proposed application enhances the usability of the existing resource while maintaining village design guidelines.
It's new construction.
Yeah.
For new
New
construction.
construction is compatible within the village guidelines and design standards. As proposed, I see no issues.
Specifically as to the clad windows, they're going on a new structure.
Correct.
And the standing seam metal roof is not on the primary structure, is a,
Accessory?
On the
Ancillary roof
it's an ancillary roof. Does it not?
with complementary roof material to the rest of the house.
Isn't there a roof feature on the front porch?
On the front of the home?
Yeah.
There's a bay window, there's
Bay
a bump
window
out
with a
window
roof on
there.
it.
There's
What's the
Shingle,
roofing on
some-
that? Wood shingles?
Yeah.
Looks like wood, yeah.
Yes, it is.
Small.
I think it's mostly paint at this point.
Yeah, many.
Hey, hold that water back.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Anything else out of that?
I don't think so.
Thank you.
I think it came from here.
Thank you all for your time.
I think we're all set.
Thank you. We really
It's a good
appreciate
job.
the
This should be a great project.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Enjoy-
yeah,
enjoy
looking
that.
forward to
Tell
it.
Tom I
Enjoy
said
that.
hi.
Yes, I certainly will.
I've worked with him.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your patience.
Thank you very
Hope the
much.
boys enjoy playing that.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you all for your patience.
Just by the way, on the comments about the roofing and any guidance given to applicants is part, although it wasn't voted on by the board, it's helpful to the applicant and certainly sort of in line with the board's charge.
It is part of our charge to
Charge.
educate.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I bring up things like that, I do it specifically. People who come here are not getting, or not necessarily going to have the experience of, that I have,
That you
You got
have.
an architect right here. Yeah.
conservation architect.
Preservation architecture. Okay, number 2, 4 Shane Place. There's a sign.
Evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Evening. Wasn't this a real estate office or something in there?
I
This
have
yellow building?
absolutely no idea.
Okay,
We're here on behalf of our daughter.
okay.
Newcomb Oil also had their office in there at
Oh,
one time.
okay, okay.
Can you please state your name so I can have it?
Sure, John Early.
And I can say, first off, this is a very,
And what's your name?
I'm Denise Starling.
Jenny? Okay. It's a very tough issue here because I've seen this with a canopy out, I've seen it with different signs. There's a sign next to the door in an older version of the picture I saw, which is, below this space here. And my first impression on this is that we're squeezing a lot in a little space, although in terms of width, it's, I don't really know where you'd put this, and unfortunately, the design, just again, firsthand, is one that's more horizontal and linear as opposed to one that some logos can be vertical, and that would be ideal to go right next to this door if it were that way.
That would be great. I think the only problem is trying to have that logo, which is trademark.
Yeah, so.
This is the picture that Jeff was talking about. This
Yeah.
is from the blue sheets. So
Yeah.
that's an older picture from
It's a canopy
2004.
And you can't see it either. What is
It's
that?
a little sign
That's
next to
the
it.
sign
Yeah,
right there.
what does it say? This I've seen. That's next
Yep,
door.
Yep,
Yeah, Jeff, this is the building that they're talking about, but there could be a canopy.
yeah, could be.
This is in fact a blue sheet.
Yeah.
Because it's blue.
Yeah, but this is part of that.
Way back when, wow.
How far back is that? The 76 picture I saw in the back?
This one,
Yeah, went back when it was a residence.
yes,
Nice residence.
the Slocums lived there. Or at least the Slocums owned it. We live in Camden, Maine, so I guess they probably know the internet.
So, anyway, that's my opening comments on it. I think this is very tough, because this crowds the two vertical elements of the building on the second story.
Yeah, it's crowding the architectural features.
Yeah, exactly, and it's really overwhelming to the structure, and that's on our guidelines, page 103, where something is so tight, even though the space linear requirements are met, it's 25 square feet altogether, it's awfully big. And I know for marketing, you want to have your sign big and visible to everybody. The white stands out here, I agree with that, that's great, but it's very, very tough call.
I understand it, and I think if we could take a look at seeing to do something else, but the picture that you showed me of the prior one, it's so crowded with the roofing that you can't see anything. There's no lighting on it or anything. Now, if you let us use neon lights with this.
There you go.
Oh, that's an hour.
A searchlight, okay,
It's a
sure.
hard no.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
And also in the guidelines, it says that signs should be sized to pedestrians and not necessarily vehicles.
Sure.
or Automobiles,
That's
so,
understood.
when that sign in that top picture from 2004 would be more a pedestrian-sized sign for a building of this size and available space.
What if Darling
Across
Aesthetics
the
were
street,
Darling?
there is a sign that's the whole length of the building.
I'd have to talk to her about that. and-
So here's-
Changing the
This
trademark.
is another treatment of it, is I inked this in here between this
Yes.
pillar
Lower.
and this window here. It's lower for people to see. Yes, it's much smaller, but it's far more appropriate than this. These are it's crowded here. It's just not, it just doesn't fit. And
If the sign was changed, so instead of having one linear Darling Aesthetics, and place the Darling and Aesthetics below it with the logo, but it would shorten it significantly, that appears to be 60 inches between the two things. What would be an acceptable range of the
Length-
sign,
length
of
of
a length of
Yeah.
a sign?
I'm going to suggest that the sign, elevated sign solutions needs to provide a detailed drawing, as is required on on our application. A separate detailed scale drawing of the sign, including dimensions, is required by our application form.
There are dimensions.
And we do have,
It's 30 inches here.
It's not a detailed
Not
drawing.
detailed, yeah.
And the only way we can in my opinion, the only way we can evaluate what that text change, how that might affect the appropriateness of the size of the sign and the location for the sign, is to see that sign on this building. Just like this.
Understood.
With a
It would be very helpful, though, to have an approximation.
So
If you see this is where the area you
Stack
would
the
like to
three.
have it.
There
this,
needs to
this,
be
this,
more
and that would go right in
space
there.
between this bracket and this
Yep.
corner board. There needs to be wall space seen all around this. It should be raised a little bit so that it's not right down on top of the roof, in my opinion. And I
Equal
think the
space
height
on
is
either side,
okay, but the text is what makes it so long.
so what you're suggesting then, if I'm not mistaken, is that we go back, create a detailed drawing of the revised sign,
Yes,
and we could revise it so that it fits in either this or this.
Yeah, two
that's
options.
right.
This area here would not be verboten,
Yeah.
out of hand,
Well,
until you
have
see
to-
it.
You'd have to.
Wait, could you
ask-
point more specifically? I can't tell the upper states. that you're-
Where it is now, but to be more,
Yeah, okay.
figure it as a 90-degree turn on that sign, basically.
Yeah,
This building favors, well, look, they should look at this too, give you two different views. But stack that, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I agree.
And,
So what, if I'm only asking for clarity for the applicant. What if they were to flip this 90 degrees?
How high can it go?
Yeah,
It would depend on where it's located, I think.
Steve?
Question, what if the size was in that space underneath the upper window?
Say that one more time?
It would be pretty small, and I think the
That's-
upper window
yeah.
would really
Oh, you told this one.
disguise sort of the sign.
I think in the center of the building, it would look, you know what I mean, just.
Aesthetically, it'd be ideal, and it's just like, I don't see a way a sign would fit there and still probably be,
Visible.
yeah, I mean, I'm not designing it, but personally, I feel like that would be difficult to do.
If you're looking for another location besides this one, right
Exactly,
below it, next
right
to
there.
the door.
Yeah.
Right there,
That's
right
Would be
there.
more,
Made, and this
would
is,
be more
yeah, this is my
appropriate than under
suggestion
the
too.
window up above.
Personally, I'm much more open to it being beside the door than up top. I'm not saying I wouldn't approve something up top, but it would need to aesthetically
So the
match.
designer could be able to
Yeah, I
take
agree.
this as just a typical 3-foot wide door. It's to scale this and see how that would fit
Sure,
in there,
sure.
or both ways.
We could do it both ways and then present them to you at
Yeah,
that time.
exactly.
Is there going to be a problem, I'm only asking this, is there going to be a problem with its, how close to the bracket and that side light can it be?
Well, again, if it's up, if it's raised up so that it's between the bracket and the trim on the side light on the door, wherever it's located, there needs to be some house, some building showing around it.
It looks like there would be.
There wasn't on the old one, I do know.
Well, I can't help you on that.
Yeah, no.
You're on the
What's the
letter
date of
or
this?
waiver.
2004.
Yeah, I don't think you agree with it.
Well, you can see where, on this one, the sign is just where we're talking about, I think, right here.
Yes, but I mean, it's up against the brackets is what I was pointing out.
Yeah, I mean,
You're right. In that location, it might,
But it would,
because it's snugged in there.
Right.
It might look all right there.
okay.
But I personally am unwilling to comment on what it might or might not look
Without
like
seeing
until
it.
I see it.
Sure.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, up here, but pedestrian-wise, these options are closer to the eye. And I think there's a parking apron there that goes right up.
We
Yeah,
have,
that's going to
I think, 4
favor,
or 5 spots.
yeah, that's going to favor something like this, I think, but it's up to you. So we'll look forward to revision 2.
In just as much detail as you can, especially on a picture like this, distance between the panel.
I estimated it was
and the
15
sign.
feet. If this was 3, but again, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, no, that was 5 feet.
That's 5
That's
foot.
5 foot.
Our application also, I want to point out to the gentleman, our application also requires a drawing to scale, not a photograph.
Yeah.
With a marked dimension on it.
Yeah.
I recognize that the photograph is exceptionally helpful.
Okay?
Okay,
yeah.
very good.
Okay, thank you.
And-
I look forward to seeing it
When should we present this?
next time through, and this man will get on the schedule.
She'll be.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to table this until next meeting with
Thank you.
updated drawings.
Second motion?
Member Searle,
Yes.
Member Olson,
Yes.
Member Grassley.
Thank you.
Aye.
Member Allen.
Yes.
So the next meeting will be November 14th.
Do you need a temporary sign to put there? Is your daughter in business there already?
She can't yet, she's waiting on a special permit.
Okay,
That's all.
so when is that hearing?
November 17th, so it
No,
works out,
it's November 10th.
or November 10th, sorry.
And when is our next meeting? I'm sorry.
14.
Our next meeting is the 14th.
Okay. So
What sort of
she
business?
should be able to get her special
She's
use permit
a
and
esthetician.
then come forward.
Oh, yeah, I thought it might be that, but then it's like, is it
Yeah.
interior design or something?
No, no, no.
And
The
this
logo helps round it out.
So all the updated paperwork has to be turned into us by October 31st in order to be on the November 14th.
I can remember that.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you so
very
much for your
Thank
help.
you guys.
You're good parents.
Yeah.
I'm also her lawyer.
I second.
Oh, well, there you go. We've got it in.
Okay. Number 3 is 15 Elm Brook. It's a deck.
Last name's Eagle.
Okay. I guess the first question I have is this deck, this looks like it's done. Is this deck done or is it?
No, I think those
I think
pictures were
there's
referenced.
photos of.
There were some reference pictures in there of what wood railings would look like, what our proposed railings would look like, and then some pictures from around the village that have metal railings and how we think ours are a much cleaner look. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I know I labeled it.
Happened though. So
That was
that's all.
helpful.
We're not that aggressive. That'd be nice if it was done.
Okay.
So I'm going to say right off the bat here, in my opinion, this application is not complete. We don't have drawings to scale of the affected elevations. In my opinion, I have no way to evaluate the appearance of this deck on the structure because I have nothing to look at.
It's just this, which is,
This deck is
tells me
18
relative
inches
to
off
where
the
it is, but
ground.
that's not, Yeah.
I understand what your hand sketch here. I understand what I'm seeing there. What I can't understand without seeing, that's the reason why the application form requests it, so that the board can effectively and properly evaluate the impact of the change on the historic resource.
Yeah.
So I personally don't feel that I can evaluate this application.
I agree. Likewise.
The only thing is that is the exact scale down to the house.
It's not a scale drawing, that's a photograph, Steve. And there's no deck shown on it.
So we have this.
Correct, that deck will be, if you match it up to that picture, it'll be right there.
This also in this picture?
So no, that was from the village, so if you want me to go through the pictures so that the whole board can see them, that might be the easiest thing to do.
Is this live? Are you guys currently doing any work here?
We are. We're under permit to expand the window.
Oh, okay.
Guys.
Yeah, but not different contractor.
Different type.
Yes,
So
I want you to look at the drawings that tell what you're doing.
what you have here, this deck, this would be the 8.6, and this would come 30 feet this way. And, drawn in on this
Yeah.
drawing here.
Is there a little bump out?
There is a little bit, so obviously they're trying to get as much room as possible, useful room on this deck. So the 8.6 along that one wall, that deck would not go past that wall there, and there's also no room to bring it past because of the slope down to the creek. And we need to put those posts back a little bit farther. That land expands greatly as we go down farther, so we were gonna bump out to 10 feet there. And that would give them a little more room to put a table and chairs and so on.
They already have some outdoor furniture on the side of the house, I saw.
That's a children's table. It's there temporarily.
Fisher Price.
Fisher Price.
They have went through a
It's a
couple.
little bigger than that to me when I drove by this afternoon, but okay.
They
Oh,
went,
on the other side, correct, on the driveway side.
Yes, on the
Correct.
driveway. Well, all you need to sit in those
You're
little chairs
correct.
is good knees.
I have sat there before.
as I get older, no.
The photo in the picture is my daughter's table. That was their temporary. But you are correct.
So they went through some other things back there. At one point, they were going to put some pavers in and a retaining wall. Because of the hill back there, we decided that a retaining wall was not appropriate, and pavers without a retaining wall prevented a safety issue for the children.
Right.
So the best thing to do was build this deck that's 18 inches off the ground, which will line up to someday when or did you already get approval for the door from them, or no?
You're correct. On
Okay.
condition, yes.
And that is approved. So there is an approved door from this board that will be going in there, and this deck will be at the height of that door so they can walk out evenly there.
So is this to scale here where the top of the deck would be around?
Yeah, and if you look down here, the door is going to be just the 18 inches off the ground. It's right about there. So that is to scale. And then other than a standard standard deck, all wood. The only thing that we would ask the board to consider would be the wood railings with aluminum spindles, black aluminum spindles, that we think provides a much cleaner look. There is a picture of that in the application. Steve, did you print all the pictures? Do you have, is there a picture?
Yeah, it's
We have
okay.
a
Sorry,
fair number of pictures.
Okay.
you're everything. Yes.
Yeah, so that would be our proposal for railings versus an all wood railing, giving it the cleaner look. And then I put a staircase in there that had all wood railings in it, just to show the differences.
So that's aluminum?
Yes, correct. So the top and bottom plates are wood, and then just the spindles are aluminum.
Yeah, there's no,
It's tough, yeah.
I have to state my opinion, and I have. I can't evaluate this.
Yeah, I think I need to see this with respect to its position against the house, where the features of the house are. Yeah.
Is that just too dark? Because it does have an outline down there.
I'm
That's
going to stick with what's required on our application form. That's a requirement of the application.
So how did they get it, how did they get to this point with an incorrect
I can't speak to that.
application?
I didn't accept the application.
Steve? Speak?
I don't understand, to be honest with you, because you're showing where the deck is on the house, scale to the house. You have this with exact dimensions. It's a wood deck. This isn't, you're not changing anything else in the house. You're putting a wood deck that shows exactly the height and where it goes, scale to the house. You have this that shows exact dimensions of the deck. Your only real decision here is whether the rail can be aluminum or wood.
Well, I guess you're smarter than I am, Steve, because I don't.
No, I'm not saying smarter than you are. I'm just saying that there's enough information here for a deck. You're not talking about an addition or a home. We're talking about a deck.
I'm talking about what is on our application form as required.
Scale drawing. I don't know what more you would, how more.
Scale drawing, we can have this discussion another time, Steve.
Yeah, I have to say, a scale drawing would have these dimensions. This is sort of hand-drawn, which is great to get a rough idea of it, but it's not the scale.
Well, those are going to be the same exact dimensions, and if we look at the picture that Chris has, those dimensions are over there.
Yeah.
Drawings,
Yeah.
scale.
Scale, yeah.
I mean, these do appear to be to scale. Do you not see the black
How are they not to scale?
drawn?
Can you be
on
like
that?
extremely specific?
Okay,
That's the
well,
concern.
I'm happy to show you what a scale drawing looks like in case you don't know that.
I'm not saying I don't know it, I'm just asking for what you're asking for. I think Steve agrees that we did what the application requested.
Okay, his opinion and ours may differ.
Fair?
So, again, this is in the back of this house, if this was something that was completely obscured, but this is a street over here.
It's visible from the next street over.
Yeah.
Yes, it is visible from South.
Street.
Yes.
Correct.
So,
I mean, what other
I
scale
feel this is
drawing?
sufficient personally. I just wanted to comment on the one thing I feel we do have more jurisdiction on, and that is the aluminum railing.
Yeah,
I
I was
personally
on
would.
that too, yeah.
Well, it's the aluminum specifically as a material. I mean, if it was iron, I might be more open to it, but that's probably more of a rabbit hole than you were looking for than just using wood spindles.
The other choice would just be wood spindles mounted to the outside, as in the picture of the stairs that we had recently done, that I did include. That would be the alternative to meet the all-wood requirement.
This one right here.
Yeah, that just doesn't look as clean, I don't think, but whatever you guys. Yeah, you're right, it will.
See, this just says stairs here. There's no, I don't know how far out they go. I don't.
Well, it's
Just the stairs.
18 inches. They will come out, I mean, by code, treads have to be at least 10 inches. So when we take that 18 inches, divide it by 7.25, 7.3, depending what number works the best, that'll give us 2 stairs. It'll come out about 21 inches. Just to follow code. I mean, I can't change code on stairs, so they're gonna come out to,
Rise and run,
Yeah.
that works out to be.
yeah, rise and run is rise and run.
I get all that.
No, I'm just,
I understand. I just, if we're approving something, it's like, well, there are 2 lines down here. It could be 12 stairs, it could be 2 stairs. I have no idea.
18 inches off the ground, 2 stairs.
See, there's no, the 18 inches off the ground, it's probably written here somewhere, but I don't see it on the plan, so.
And have you looked at that from the perspective of, like, does that clear 2 steps cleanly, or will you need to have like a landing pad there? How are you handling that?
So we were going to pour a small concrete landing pad just for safety reasons, so that they had something solid to come down onto. So it'll just be a little bit wider than the stairs themselves, and just 3.5 inches thick, standard concrete. And that's more of a safety thing because it is back there where it does stay a little wet and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know about the other 2 members. I need to see a scale plan myself.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to table this to next meeting pending a more detailed drawing specifically in relevance to the house and the stairs.
Thank you.
And the concrete pad.
Yeah, just know where they are. And,
2 elevation drawings.
yeah,
One looking at the deck and the length across the back of the house, and a second elevation looking at it in its narrow frontage.
Second?
Good, second?
So just a question, is there an opportunity to preview what we bring to you guys prior to the meeting? Because now we have to wait another month for the project. Your engineer accepted what we submitted. This is the second time I've been before the board where this has happened. How do we get aligned on what you're requesting prior to the meeting? I'd love to understand how that works.
Okay, first of all, I want to suggest that you look at the application form and see what's required.
We did.
Okay,
And
but
one of your members clearly understood what we submitted and agrees that we met the requirement. My question would be, is there a way to have you guys preview what we submit to not waste another 25 days? And now we're in the winter, the project likely will now not be able to go forward. So it's a question, how do we get aligned that what we submit is acceptable?
We could have a special meeting. You could meet with one of the board members.
Or you could just submit it to us.
You guys get the packet though.
We get the
one at a
packets and we can
time,
review it
I
then.
mean,
I'm open to any answer from the
Yeah,
board. I just would like to
we're going to
understand.
run into a little problem getting this deck in at this point, and to drill these holes and stuff if it gets, I don't mind working in the cold, but when we come to concrete and concrete
Gotcha.
setting appropriately and
It's a reasonable
stuff.
request for you all, I'm not disputing that. My question would be,
Set in the winter?
Huh?
Isn't it better for concrete to set in the winter?
It's better if it sets slower when it's cooler, but if concrete freezes, it loses half its strength that it never
Let me
regains.
propose this. Get back to us with these plans with the house included, the stairs included. We can scan those, get a quick look. If there's any questions, we can get back to you before, and then you're.
that'd be greatly appreciated.
You want to have something that's good to go.
Understand.
No, I understand your dilemma, and I hope you understand.
So that's going to be our problems if it freezes. The other thing is we wouldn't be able to pour the
the updates have
pad.
to be in by October 31st in order
Maybe
to
use
be on the.
another color than black.
But if you can get
Does
this
the board consider
back to
Yes,
us,
if you get it in,
that was my
if you
question.
get it in.
So-
at the
Something a little
end
more
of the week,
bright.
we'll-
what you're after is,
Yeah.
we'll say, we have no issue with this, let's do it. Yeah.
I think we can.
In concept, I have no problem with this. In
I know,
concept, I have no problem.
But
I can't evaluate what
Yeah,
it
I
looks
think
like.
I have a
as the
perfectly
resource.
clear understanding of what you guys need.
Okay, roll call, member Searle,
Yes,
What are we voting on?
Member Olson?
Yes. Tabling.
I made the motion. Jeff seconded it.
Member Dubrowski?
No.
Chair Pollak?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Would the board consider a special meeting depending on how close they get their stuff in?
I would be willing to attend a special meeting.
I can't answer that until the resolution of the 5th agenda item.
I'm sorry?
So I don't think I can answer that until the resolution of the 5th agenda item.
Yeah, we need to.
I'd be open to
We
it.
see it, we
Can we do it via telecom?
Yeah.
Is that possible?
So what kind of time frame can you guys meet to get that?
Did we discuss that?
We can probably get these drawings done in a day or so,
Okay.
you know.
For your sake too, I mean, the sooner the better.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I want their concrete to set right, because, I mean, if we do this too late, we won't be able to do the stairs until
Yeah.
the spring.
Yeah.
I mean, don't want to
Yeah, we're,
pour weak concrete, especially for the pad. The stuff underground
Yeah.
will cure just fine. But I don't know what the weather is going to do coming up. And until I get the frame of that deck up, I don't want to pour that concrete pad, 'cause I want to be exactly what everything's
Oh, yeah,
going to
of
be,
course.
you know.
let us be in touch. Who would we follow up with to submit the amended drawings? Would it be Steve or?
Just, well, get them through Steve, and then we could, they can, Kristen can
Do you want me to
circulate,
do it back on the
them to us,
picture like that? How do
and
you
we can
want me
get
to
back
do
on
that?
that.
Thank you.
That's not my ask.
So how, these scale drawings, do you want them back on that picture like we submitted, or do you
No.
want them?
No, I want a drawing.
Okay,
I want a drawing.
Pictures are okay, now we know where the site is, yes, but.
okay.
Pictures augment. They don't, they can't be used in exchange for a drawing.
So is there a way to schedule a special meeting so they can get their concrete done? It's up to the board entirely, it's on me.
I think what I heard is we will submit our plan as soon
Yeah.
as we have them ready. And then it seemed like. the
All of our
board-
emails are on the
Then we
board or the
organize the meeting
website,
as
and it
quickly
probably
as
wouldn't hurt
possible.
to send them to us directly also.
Great.
I will just copy everyone in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be
Are you
fine.
two available weekends?
Anytime,
I am available, whatever is right for the customer.
anytime.
That would be any time,
I was
Virginia.
gonna say, we're not the customer, but okay.
No, him.
No, but I answered that, and I answered. We're all set. Thank you, guys. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
great, thank you.
We'll be in touch.
Did you have something to say, sir?
I was just trying to see if we could get a date scheduled.
Yeah, sooner the better.
I mean, if we can get a date scheduled, give them a date to shoot for with the plans,
Yeah,
then, I mean, it's just availability.
right.
Right.
So do you want to schedule a date?
We can?
My only standing obligation is Tuesday
I
night.
didn't want to commit you to time frame.
I'm gone for the next
Yeah, I won't be doing this.
8
so.
days. I'm gonna be in California.
What's
But
that?
I'm gonna, if we video conference, I can do that, no problem. Yeah, so look at it.
Well, go back to my comment on,
Well, we gotta have a quorum anyway, okay?
Yeah.
Gotta have a quorum here.
Yep.
So, pick a date, sorry, pick a date, that maybe a quorum can be here.
I'm back on,
What's Monday next week?
I could agree in theory to any date. I have no idea what my wife's work calendar is. So
Back on the
I can make
26th.
anything.
that's, yeah.
Virginia?
26
My
is
my only
only,
standing obligation is Tuesday night.
Okay.
Yeah, my request would be that we can convene as soon as we're able to submit the drawings via telecom
Yep,
at the board's availability. And we'll be making
And
the
and
request.
we need a quorum, which is only 3.
So do you want to have video, or do you want to have it in person?
no, we gotta be in person.
gotta do it in person.
Oh,
I'm
we
not-
do. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
so
We have to be in
Monday,
person, yeah.
Monday, the 26th.
It has to be 3 people here.
I'm sorry, I thought we could do it via
No,
telecom.
You
no.
you can, we can't.
Or it could be three.
And we're missing
And
one
Kendra is coming.
Kendra could,
one member
option,
tonight.
yeah,
Oh,
okay.
Monday, the 26th, right?
26th is the Wednesday.
Oh, does Wednesday, the 26th work?
Works for me.
Kristen?
Works for me.
I'm out of town, I don't know what their advance availability is.
Why don't we
Okay.
try to, you send them in, Kristen will send them out with an email, and ask us when we're available, or suggest some dates. I'll say that, my only standing obligation is Tuesday night.
But the sooner the better,
That would be
obviously.
our request.
Yeah,
I've got no problem with special meeting.
but I'm gone till the 26th, so.
Thank you.
If we get a quorum, we would.
Agreed. Okay. Number 4, windows. 9 West Jefferson.
What'd you say?
Pretty sure I have a fever.
Do you have a fever?
Hi.
Hello.
Evening.
So
Good
it's
evening.
gonna be a quick meeting.
Good evening.
I can't ask you what your COVID status is, but
Holiday.
that doesn't always mean anything.
Okay.
Oh, I tested this morning.
Okay. It still doesn't mean anything.
Okay. Tell us about your project. Looks like a remodel inside that I'm guessing, but you can go ahead and tell us.
Oh, okay, so this is my husband Adam, and we are at 9 West Jefferson, and we're hoping to remodel our bathroom. It's in the back of the house, and what we wanted to do was to relocate a window that's back there. The window is an original to the house. Yep, that's the one. And we are hoping to turn it into a horizontal direction. Right now it's vertical up and down. We are hoping to change it into a horizontal direction.
Mhm.
You think this window is not original to the house? Is that
I
what you
do,
said?
yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
We have original windows, which are the ball and rope type. I'm not sure how you,
Regular double hungs?
yes, all over except
Weighted
for.
lead thing.
Yeah, and those are definitely originals. I mean,
And what is this one?
this is a casement
Okay.
crank. Yeah, it looks pretty standard, like a Home Depot type of model.
Right, so you're saying that the physical window is not original, but the actual space and where it is most likely original.
No, we don't believe that's original either, mostly because of its positioning. It's not in line with the other windows that we do believe are original, in both its width as well as its placement on the wall.
It doesn't match any other size window.
That's right.
I'm sorry, who's the individual?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm Mark Fisher. I'm the bathroom designer.
Oh, okay, good.
Sorry about that.
So is there do you want to change this window just so nobody can see, or is there a vanity, or WC?
Yes, it's because the window will be in the shower, so it's for privacy.
Oh, please. Well, I would argue not to put a window in a shower ever.
Well,
Yeah, it's one of the things is like the bathroom, we're looking to replace the shower because it's cracked and leaking.
Yeah.
It's a stand-up stall.
No, I get it, I have that too.
Yeah.
But I still wouldn't put a window in the shower, even if I was building a brand new
Yeah.
house.
Our main goal is to keep some natural light in the bathroom.
and additional ventilation.
Yeah.
The natural
that
light.
always helps in the bathroom.
Well, I understand your desire to, I understand your desire to replace the window. My biggest concern is pushing the window all the way, the trim on the window,
To the edge.
all the way
To the
up
edge
to
of
the
the
corner board.
vertical trim.
Yeah, that, in my opinion, is inappropriate. And I know you're going to be limited to how big the window can be by the size of the shower, whatever size it's going to be. But it's in my opinion, it's inappropriate for the window to be pushed all the way up. And again, I'm going to say one more time, our application form requires drawings to scale of the affected elevation. And while this is a photograph and there are numbers on it, and there's a window shown on it, this is not a scale drawing.
So I did read the requirements, and I was hoping to save my client some money by not having to draw the entire side of the house.
I understand where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is that a board like this has a responsibility, if we have requirements here, written here, it's our responsibility to see that every application that comes through has everything that's on here. Otherwise, we are being arbitrary and capricious in deciding whose photograph.
You know what, I don't think we would actually argue that point at all.
With numbers on here.
That's fine, yeah. Yeah.
You know, and whose we're not.
We're happy
You
to
know,
put in
this
the
is
expense.
much better than the deck, by the way. This is much better than the deck, but it still is not a scaled drawing.
I think we're happy to take that feedback and get you the, the official
Now,
thing that you need. Yeah.
And I also would
I'm a
argue,
stickler because following the rules, pardon me, can save your ass if you're a municipality.
Well, and we respect the rules and we understand the purpose of them.
Thank you very much.
Yes, so.
I would also suggest too, says 41 inches wide, I'm sure that's the standard, something you found, and you know, that's a definite size, it's not a custom window.
But that's from trim to the corners, the 41 inches. The window is 32 inches by 18.
Oh, yeah.
But that doesn't-
Something smaller would be able to, I mean, whatever the next size down is, that would be my immediate take, because that's going to relieve this butting of these two frames together. It just doesn't-
Understood.
Yeah.
I would suggest an appropriate distance.
And what would that?
Might be about the same width as the corner board.
Okay, all right. So if we took the window and we made it narrower, so that more.
Or
so
moved
we
it
had-
over.
But
Or
they're,
moved it over.
Oh,
it's going to be, they'll be confined.
Oh, they're confined to the
We're
wall.
challenged, we've got the interior and the exterior
well,
to consider,
you
whereas we're literally
know,
just
I
looking
can't
at the
help
exterior.
myself. I like symmetry inside, so. Yeah, it's to have it symmetrical inside, so that's just my OCD, but.
Good.
I'm a symmetry person as well.
About how much clapboard would you like to see between the corner board and the new casing on the window?
As you said, the thickness of
I
it.
would suggest the width of the corner board.
Okay, that's probably about
It's
4.5
probably
inches?
about four, yeah.
Okay, you just want to see some clapboard up
Yeah,
there?
absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
But not, not an inch.
yeah, right, okay, that's, yeah, very fair.
Otherwise, I have no issues with it.
Well, I do want to point
We
out,
have a new shower at my house.
I do want to point out one feature of the window, and that is that it is fiberglass, but the surrounding trim, which will match the existing trim on the house, will be wood. And I'm assured by Matthews and Fields, who is a representative for Anderson Windows, that the fiberglass will take paint and can be painted the same color as the trim. So I just want to make sure that the fiberglass is acceptable on the exterior, because we have to have a material inside that's impervious to water.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just going to say, I can't imagine, among other things.
Yeah.
The window's going to rot.
Yeah.
And
don't
the
want
seals
that.
will fail. Is this a mullion in between here?
So-
Is it too light?
It's two windows actually, both
Bypass?
operational.
Bypass windows?
It's actually not bypass, they are individual awning windows. And I felt like that might be more acceptable than a bypass or a single pane window. But if we're making it narrower, would the board accept a single pane window?
I would.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, what is the hardware on an awning window that's going to be waterproof?
Well, it'll be up high enough, and if we use a rain shower head,
That's all I need to
yeah,
know.
there's.
A lot of humidity, but nonetheless, yeah.
Those cranks are not as substantial as you
Issues
would
like we think they
like
are.
them to be. I've replaced some of mine.
So are you looking at a smaller window now, or are you just going to move? What kind of came out of this?
From what I hear, a narrower window where we have clapboard
Right.
to match existing on the right-hand side, matching the width of the corner board or more would be acceptable. I'm also hearing that a single pane window would be acceptable. All the other windows in the house are single pane and don't have divisions. And that we are going to take this as an opportunity to match the existing head height of the other windows on the first floor of the house.
Thank you. That-
And we
I
would
noticed that and
replicate the
appreciate that.
exterior molding of the historic windows. There are some windows on the house that are not original. We're going to take our precedent as the original windows to the house and duplicate those in wood. And then the entire exterior will be painted to match the existing color of the exterior.
With like material.
It will be wood to match, yes, it'll be wood. It's only the sash itself that will be fiberglass. But again, I was assured that the fiberglass will take paint like wood, and it's a better material than certainly vinyl, which I don't think any of us, would like.
Well, I will just clarify. If you can move the window away from the corner, the width of the corner board, and
May not be
keep the 32 inches and not have the window be outside the shower.
Right, yeah.
I don't know how that's going to work out.
32 inches. I understand from a practical standpoint, you've got a shower that's X number of inches, and you can't put the window has to stay inside the shower.
Yes, unfortunately in this situation, I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, water and wood and windows and showers, aren't necessarily the best combination. So that's why the window is higher up in the wall, and I'm suggesting that we use the materials that we're using to try to mitigate, the moisture.
No, I'm good with what you've said, with just sliding that window, and I guess my position is going to be, you tell us what width that window is going to be up to the 32 inches you suggested to make that happen. And if the window gets narrower, because we need to see that siding, that's up to you.
I think 6 inches would seem proportional and acceptable, and it would not compromise what's happening on the interior at all. So,
I just don't want to tell you that you can't have a 32-inch window in the shower if it will fit given the need to move the window a little bit closer to the street.
Okay.
I don't know what elevation I'm looking at. So.
And then the other, if I'm understanding you correctly, in order to comply with the application guidelines and requirements, that we will submit a drawing of the west elevation of the house.
Just this
that
corner.
Just the corner. Okay.
I mean, this includes this view.
Okay.
I would think.
But I think it does. I think it needs to be this wide.
Oh, that whole. Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to get all the way up to the roof.
Okay.
But we should see the relationship of the windows here.
Okay. So we will submit an elevation. Partial elevation, let's say the first floor, perhaps, and then the photos can fill in what's going on the second and third floors. And
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yes.
And you'll determine what kind of window you can size down.
Yeah, I think what I'll do is just take the horizontal window, we'll just make it a little bit narrower to expose the clapboard on the right-hand side, and we'll center it inside the shower. And I think aesthetically, it'll be great. So
okay, good.
Everybody wins.
So we'll see you here again then.
I mean, I believe that's the protocol.
Yeah, correct.
We'll resubmit it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we just submit that one elevation drawing, or does the whole thing, do you need this whole packet again?
No, don't, I
No.
would say don't do.
Yeah,
both.
just submit that.
Provide the.
That's
The
supplemental,
drawing,
that's
the
good.
one drawing, okay,
You
and we
bet.
give that to Steve?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good.
Okay, well,
Thank you very much.
thank you for your time.
thank you so much, we appreciate it.
Are we going to
Okay.
formally table this since we formally
Yes,
tabled?
formally tabled.
Okay.
I make a motion to table this application until next month unless.
Second.
Want to table it?
Okay, thank you.
Member Searle,
Yes.
Rolson,
Yes.
Member Dubrowski,
Aye.
Chair Pollak,
Yes.
motion passes. So if you can just get that to Steve by October 31st, so if there's any issues, then we can get that fixed. And the next meeting will be November 4th.
At the
Okay.
same time, right?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
If they got everything in before your special meeting, would they be able to come in for that?
I'd be willing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you get everything in.
It'll alleviate the amount that we have to do the following month.
Schedule.
Yeah.
We were aiming for October 26th. if you wish.
Yeah, I'll certainly try to get it done sooner.
As soon as we get it in, we'll forward it to you, and see if we can.
Every
That'd be
client
great.
wants to be your only.
I know, I wish they were my only client.
Okay.
So, but it is a priority for us.
Once they submit it, then figure it out.
Well, the only reason I said the 26th was that's when Jeff's back in town.
Yeah.
But if Kendra can fill in, we have a quorum, then we
Yeah.
do it sooner for that.
See if it works.
Okay,
Okay,
great, thank you so much.
yeah, we'll submit it and go from there.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, we have video conferencing resolution for a public hearing, and I see there's overwhelming public here, so we
A
need
public
to.
hearing or a public meeting?
Public hearing. So this is to allow other members of this board to attend meetings virtually. And so the motion to open a public hearing, I so move.
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
Do we have to do that even though it's okay? Okay, Member Searle,
Just one second. This is just to open the hearing? Yeah, yes.
Member Olson,
Yes.
Member Dubrowski,
Yes.
Chair Pollak,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, thank you. And this is, the portion is to receive any public comment on this, since no one is here.
You ask if there's any public comment.
Is there any public comment?
Kristen, online, anything?
There is nothing.
Oh, good point. Nothing online, no one here.
I got pretty tight of voting on that.
Can I ask a question?
You can ask a question, yeah.
Before COVID, before the mandates, nothing was online?
No, no.
That's not quite true. You could attend virtually, provided that where you were attending from is open to the public.
Oh, okay, so like a public space?
Wherever, you know, you could let them in your house.
Yeah.
As long as the public could have access to where you were. And then COVID went fully video.
Correct.
This is
No, I can.
sort of a way to alleviate the requirement of having the public in your house if you can't attend personally.
Correct.
So this is only in extraordinary circumstances that you can attend virtually. And there still has to be 3 people, either here or somewhere where the public can attend.
Okay.
So is this to allow the public to zoom in or for the board to hold a meeting?
For the board to be.
For a member of the board to attend a board meeting.
Right.
Is not for the entire board to meet virtually.
Right.
That's important.
As Chris says, it's for an extraordinary circumstance when a board member can't be here that board member can attend virtually, provided that there are 3 people here.
Are there parameters for what
That's
the extenuating circumstances are?
That's in
103-A2C.
yeah.
Have you got the short?
The short,
What's the short version of that?
It's pretty easy.
give me some
Because
examples.
I don't have access. to
Disability,
New York
illness.
State public law. Did you send us that?
Okay, you ready? Jane, you ready?
If this is it, I'll read it. This one?
Location,
Yes.
so I'm just going to
Summary.
relevant paragraph. Location due to extraordinary circumstances, including disability, illness, caregiving responsibilities, or any other significant or unexpected factor or event which precludes the member's physical attendance at such meeting.
That's it. Okay.
Do we need to discuss this?
Sorry?
Do we need to discuss this?
I don't,
Well, we can close the public hearing and discuss it.
yeah. Okay. Any other questions internally here?
No.
Any comments from the web?
No.
We can close the public hearing.
Okay, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Member Searle?
Yes.
Member Olson?
Yes.
Member Dubrowski?
Yes.
Chair Power?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Okay, and I make a motion to adopt the resolution as proposed.
And procedure.
Hmm?
Resolution and procedure.
And procedure.
Second the motion.
Okay.
Okay. Member Searle?
Aye.
Member Olson?
Yes.
Member Dubrowski?
Yes.
Chair Power?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. And I think we have meeting minutes to review before we close.
There's not, Henry's not here.
Oh, okay.
So-
All right, yeah, that would be, okay. I make a motion to close this meeting.
I'll second that motion.
I will put down my thoughts about metal roofing.
So second it.
Yeah.
Send it
I did.
around.
Olson.
Member Searle?
Aye.
Member Olson?
Yes.
Member Dubrowski?
Aye.
Chair Power?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Mark, we can put together some samples.